What's up, YouTube? In this lesson, we're going to learn how to recreate this multi-level submenu where we can open up either of these to access some sublinks here, and we can also just hit our escape key to close this out or click out in this side area here. Whenever we reopen, it goes back to the main menu. So this was requested in my Discord channel for patrons. Someone asked how to build this out, so we're just going to recreate it here in Webflow. So let's get started. I'll hop over to Webflow and just have an empty project here. The first thing I'll do is drop in a div, and I'll give this the class of navWrap, and I'll go ahead and tag this as a nav. And inside of that, I'll go ahead and give it maybe some padding. I have a page padding variable set here of 2rem. I'll just go ahead and throw that on all sides, just so we can link that up here. And then inside of this, let's go ahead and add in, I'll go ahead and add a link block. Again, we'll just call this nav logo wrap. And inside of that, we'll want our logo. So I'll just right click on this SVG in Figma, copy as SVG, and I'll head back to Webflow. I'll launch the SVG import app, and I'll just click in here and paste, Command V. So there we go. We have this, and our link is blue, so I'll just add in a quick embed here just to set our link font color to inherit. So we'll just do style, and a. It'll be nice when Webflow custom properties come out and we can just set this without even needing an embed. But so that way the link inherits from the font color of its parent. So we have that set. I can go ahead and grab this link logo and just give it somewhat of a size till it feels comfortable, maybe something like 6rem. And then I'll go ahead and drop a custom element, and I'll give this the class of nav button. And I'll just give this a size, maybe like 3rem by 3rem. I'll go ahead, zero out the padding. Let's give this a tag of button, like so. Let's go ahead and apply flex to align center, justify to space apart. Let's clear out the default styles that are going to be on our buttons. So I'll just do button, and we'll say all unset, and I'll just add in cursor pointer. So we're clearing that out, and then button focus, and this will just be outline revert. So it goes back to the browser's default focus state for that button. So if I tab, we get that focus outline. So now I'll go ahead and grab this button and give it 50% radius and link its background color to this white swatch. And inside of that, I'll drop in a div, give this the class of nav button line, and I'll just give this a width of maybe 50% of its parent and a height of 2 pixels, and I'll give it a background color of black, and I'll just apply flex to this button. We'll do vertical, so the lines are underneath each other, align and justify center. Then we can duplicate this line, so we have 2 of them. With the button selected, let's give it a gap of like 4 pixels to space those apart, like so. So now underneath the button, we're going to have a div, and we'll just call this something like menu wrap. And we want this to be absolute to the top right corner, like so. And I'll just give it a width, something like maybe 30rem, and a max width of 100%. So on smaller screen sizes, it never overflows past screen width. And we'll give this a height of 100 VH. Hey Skylar, welcome to the stream. So let's go ahead and give this a background color of white, and let's give it a font color of black, and let's make sure it has a z-index of 1, and we'll want our menu nav button here to have position relative z-index 2, and we'll give this the logo relative z-index 3. And I'll give this menu wrap, actually, instead of white, I'll go with like an off gray color. So there we go. And inside the menu wrap, we're basically going to want two panels to show the main links and then the sublinks. So I'll go ahead and give this menu wrap some top padding just to make sure that there's enough that the links never go underneath the menu, like so. And then inside of that, we'll just drop in a div. We'll call this something like menu panel. And this can just have a height of 100% of the remaining space with 100%. And we'll want to do overflow auto so that if these links are ever taller than the height here, it'll scroll inside this panel. And we'll want to go ahead and drop in, I think the first thing we'll do if we look at this is we're going to probably use just button elements for these since they're not going to a new page and they're just opening up sub content. So we'll go ahead and drop in a custom element. We'll give this a tag of button, and we'll just go ahead and say 100% width. Let's give this a class of menu link, and we'll give it some padding. I'll do display block. Let's give it some padding of our page padding on the sides. And I'll just give it a custom padding off top and bottom, maybe 1.5 rem. And I'll drop a text block in there. And I'll just call this menu link text. And I'll go ahead and copy this SVG. Right click, copy as SVG. Let's go back to our link. Let's open up SVG import. And let's paste in our icon. And we'll just call this menu icon. Oops, icon like so. And let's give it just a width. I'll do something like 0.9 rem is fine. Let's select the link, apply flex, center, justify apart. Let's see, that should have worked. It has a width of 100% of its parent. The parent is 100% width of the menu wrap. Where did this thing go? We might have to set don't shrink or grow. No? Let's see where that SVG, yeah, the padding's overflowing. Something's overflowing here. So this is flex, it's 100% width. This is overflow auto, 100% width, and the menu wrap has a width. One thing I will be doing is applying flex horizontal to the menu wrap. Doesn't seem like that did anything though. Yeah, that padding's like, let's give it a max width of 100%. Back it down. So 100% is overflowing for some reason. Let's grab this panel. Max width 100% of its parent, potentially. Let's remove the overflow auto. Huh, that's really strange. The panel's got a width set. The link is overflowing for some reason. It's display flex. Let's say the max width isn't helping. I wonder if I delete this icon out of here, does the link go? Nope. All right, just gotta debug this for a second. Let's just throw a gradient on there so we can see where it ends. Well, it looks like it's ending in, yeah, it's going way past. Did I tag this as button? Yep. Max width 100%. Man. Okay. And that's, I'm just going to publish and check it out on the live side. It might be easier to see if there's like some kind of style on here that we're not seeing. Oh, the menu isn't even shown here for some reason. I still have code in here from the original, so I'm going to clear that out and publish. And let's just see. What is going on? All right, so we'll inspect on the button element. We'll check it out there. It has display flex. Nothing's being overridden with it really. And then the panel. One thing I could try doing not sure why it would need this, is grabbing the panel and applying flex. Vertical top, even then it's going, let's let's remove flex from this. Even without flex, it's going over. Without the 100% width for some reason, really interesting. 100% width for some reason is making it overflow past the panel. So I'll just take that off and I'll apply flex back to this. That way that's all good. Then I can remove the gradient from this link. Yeah, I have no clue why that was doing that. Okay, so there we go. So we have this. Let's say something like grow, and this text can be a bit larger, a bit bolder, and we'll give it maybe a bottom border. Back down the opacity. Something like that. Okay, so that's our button. I'm gonna give this a combo class of like opens more, just so I can target it, so I know that this is going to be one of the links that slides the panel over. And I'll just duplicate that link, and we'll say grow, learn, and duplicate it again, and this one will be inspire. And the last link will be an actual link, so I'll just drop in a link block, give it the same class of menu link. This one won't have any kind of combo class, and it'll just go to a different page. So I'll drop the text inside it. This one can just say contact, and it won't have an arrow since it's not opening a sub panel. It's just going straight to a page. So that's the first panel. So what I'll do is duplicate that panel. So we have two of them under each other. We want the two panels to go side by side though. So I can apply flex horizontal, and that puts panel 1, panel 2. And what we'll do is set don't shrink or grow, so that the panel takes up 100% the width of its parent. And then for our interaction, we're just going to be applying a transform that animates the panels, both of them, to negative 100%. So they'll just slide from this panel being fully in view to the second panel being fully in view, and that'll just play for that one. So I'll leave this set to negative 100% so we can see that second panel. At the start of that second panel, we're going to have a button element, and I'll say something like go back. I'll give that a combo. And I'll move the SVG over here. I'll change this to say back. Probably can flex this way, give it a bit of a gap, and maybe give this a combo of the whole SVG is Alt. That way I can just rotate this with a transform, rotate like so. So this will be our backlink, and then we'll have some sublinks, and we need different sublinks for each of these. So build will have like build maybe the main page and a couple sublinks, grow, and then this has a couple sublinks, and they all have the same backlink. So what we can do is wrap them in like a content div. I'll just call this something like menu content. And I'll drop this right here, and we won't use buttons because these are going to go to an external page, so it will be links. I'll just call this sublink just so I can style it a little bit differently, maybe back down the padding a little bit, maybe yeah, just something like that. And then what we'll do, I might even want to make the font size smaller, so I'll go ahead and reset the font size I had on this text of 1.4, and then instead apply that to the all link class 1.4, and that way on this sublink I can just back down font size like so. So this is the grow, and then we have, if we want to duplicate that, inside of grow panel we'll have link 1, duplicate, we'll have link 2, and we'll have link 3. And then this is the content for grow. We'll duplicate that content, and then this next content block is going to be for the second link. So we'll say inspire, and maybe this one only has 2 additional links other than the main page. And then we'll duplicate this block one more time right here. And then we have learn, and maybe that one has 2 as well. So grow, inspire, learn. Let me see. Is that how I named it? Let me grab these panels, hide the transform, grow, learn, inspire. So different order. So I need to take the learn panel and move it up over here. So there we go. So all of our panels, we'll only be seeing one at a time on the real site, but that's essentially what it'll be doing. I'll go ahead and give this an ARIA label, this back button. ARIA label. We'll call this back to main menu, potentially. And just so they know what's going on there. These links are pretty self-explanatory. They'll just be taking you to a page. Let's collapse this subpanel. This one, I might want to be more specific because when you're focused on it with a screen reader, it'll just say grow, and you might not know what that's for. So I might say something like open grow menu. I'm not sure of the proper way to label these, but maybe something like open grow menu, open learn menu, and open inspire menu. Just so they know what's going to happen if they hit that button. And then for this one, it'll just be like, we'll say ARIA label, open main menu, or maybe just open menu. Okay, and I think that's it for the structure of things. So what I should be good to do is I'll set this menu wrap to display none. Let me just add in a quick image in here. Just this image here, we'll call it hero image, just so we have something to see. Give it a height of 100 VH, fits cover. The nav can be position fixed on top with a high enough z-index. And whenever the menu is open, we'll also want like a background div. So I can just drop in a menu background, and this can be position absolute to cover its full parent. So 100% width, 100 VH height, and a background color of black, and maybe like black at a 20% opacity or something like that. So that'll just be a background. It'll be display none by default, and whenever we open the menu, we'll want to show that. Cool. So let's head over to gsap.com/install, and I'll go ahead and grab the GSAP CDN right there, copy that, throw it in here, and let's go ahead and also add in Code Sandbox. So I'll just open that up, create a new sandbox, HTML, CSS, and I'll call this script.js. Copy that URL right here, head back over here, paste it in, and target the script.js file. So we can save that, publish it, and start getting this stuff set up. So let's open this. Nice. I'll drag this up here. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is save a couple elements we'll be using in variables. So I know I'll be using this nav button, so I might just create a variable here called let nav button equal, and then just target that nav button. Something else we'll be using is the menu wrap. So I'll say let menu wrap equal, and we'll target that menu wrap. We'll also be using the menu background. Let's just copy that. Say let menu background equal, I think I just called it menu background. Okay. We also have the panels inside the menu wrap. So I can just copy their class and I can say let menu panels equal the menu panels. So the first timeline we're going to have is the one to open the main menu. So I can say let, I'll call this show main menu, and we'll set it equal to gsap.timeline, and we want this timeline to be paused true by default. We don't want it to play till we click on the menu button. And the first thing we're going to do, because our menu wrap is set to display none, so we'll do show main menu. We'll grab our timeline, we'll do a dot set on the menu wrap, and we'll set it to a display of flex. So those two panels stacked side by side. Then we want to slide this menu over from the right. So we can basically copy this and do a dot from on the menu wrap, and we can do from a X of 100%. So it's over here and it's going to slide back into 0. And also we want to probably do the menu background. That is going to be hidden by default. Menu background. So we'll want to set that to block. And we probably want to do a from on the menu background. And we'll animate it from opacity 0 so it fades up. So if we save that, shouldn't actually do anything yet. We need to make that timeline play when we click on that menu button. So we have our nav button here. We can just do a nav button on click, and we'll just run a function here. And so what we want to do is show main menu dot play, so it plays our timeline. On first click, we want it to play, but on second click, we actually want it to reverse. So to do that, we need to figure out if this timeline has been played or not yet. So we can do something like show main menu dot progress, and that gives us a number from 0 to 1 to tell us 0 if it's at the beginning of this timeline, 1 if it's at the end of the timeline. So we can say if show menu progress equals 0, so the timeline is at the beginning, hasn't been played yet, then we want to play it. And then else, if the progress is anything greater than 0, we want to reverse whenever we click. And that should play it and then pause it. So let's just see. So, sorry, play and then reverse. Yep. The background is fading to opacity after the menu wrap slides in. So we want those two things to happen together. So we'll just do this. And then other than that, we also want to be able to close our menu. Let's see. We want to close our menu if we click out in this gray area here. So to do that, that is our menu background here. We can just copy this on click. We can say menu background, one click, and doesn't matter if it's first click or second click, we just always want to reverse. So close it if we click on the background. So we'll run that. So we should be good to click here. And then if we click out here, it closes it. And when we come back to click here, it opens again. So that's working good. Something else that could be nice is if we hit the escape key when the menu is open, we might want to close. So for that, we could just do the entire document. We can do on key down, and we can open our function just like the click event. But here, we're going to pass in E to get information about the event, and we can do E.key to get the key that was pressed on the document. So we can do something like if E.keyDown equals the escape key, escape, then we want to do a show main menu dot reverse. So anytime we press the escape key, it should reverse. So if we come back here, open, hit escape key, and it reverses it. So that's good. Then we want, anytime we click on any of these links, these three, we want to slide the panels over. So that's going to be to show the submenu. So if we were to just check this out for a second, let me just add a combo class of show to this temporarily so we can see it. So each of these we gave the opens more class. So we can just maybe copy this click event. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because it's getting kind of large. And we can say, let's target anything with the opens more class. And anytime we click on any of those links, we want to show the submenu, and that can just be a timeline. We'll want to create it above our show main menu. So I'll say show submenu. We'll set it equal to GSAP.timeline. We'll add in paused true, so it doesn't play yet. And then we can say show submenu, and we'll do a 2 on the menu panels. And let's just do to an X of negative 100%. So it pulls them over that way, like so. And then, so anytime we click on any of those opens more links, we'll do show submenu dot play. And so if we save, refresh, should be able to click on any of these and it slides it over. One thing I forgot to do was set the entire menu wrap to overflow hidden, just so we're not seeing that. That way it crops it off. Cool. We'll do that there. Let me close that and publish. And then anytime we click on that backlink, this is the menu link with the class of go back, we'll want to reverse. So we can say if we click on go back, show submenu dot reverse. So if we save that and refresh, cool. We click on this, slides it that way. We click on go back, it goes back. So that's great. Now, anytime we click on like learn or inspire, we only want to show the learn panel with the learn links. We want to hide all the other links. So we actually need to save those in a variable, and those are just our menu content classes. So I can copy that, and I can say something like let content equal, and this will just be our content classes. So we'll want to get the index of the link we clicked on. So I can just say let index equal, or I'll call this link index equal this, which is the link we clicked on, dot index. So it'll just get the number of that link we clicked. And then we can say all of our content. We can hide all of them. And then we can say content with the EQ of the link index we clicked on. So we're only grabbing the content div that matches the link we clicked on, and we'll do dot show. So if we save that and we come back here and we open this, so now if I click learn, we're only seeing learn. If I click grow, we're only seeing grow. And inspire. So cool. Yeah, that's looking good. The slide from left to right feels like it could be a bit snappier. So what we could do is throw in like an ease. We'd want to ease the start and the end. So maybe like a power 2 in out. And maybe we reduce the duration a little bit, like 0.3. Let's just see what that feels like. So yeah, that might be a little too fast. Let's go back to 0.5. Let's see what that feels like. Yeah, that feels snappier. I might actually power 1 in out and then reduce the duration. And even for like this stuff, we can throw on, instead of applying ease to like the menu wrap and the background color independently, we can just do defaults and then pass in the default duration we want for all of the steps on this timeline and the default ease, which I think I'll just leave the ease as is and maybe shorten the duration a bit so it slides out a bit faster. Yep, that looks good. Cool. So that part's looking good. I think that's set up. So if we're on the submenu and we click out here and we reopen, we're seeing the submenu we were left off on. We're not actually resetting it back to the main menu. So to fix that, what we can do is, let me hit enter here so it creates new lines. We'll want to do a callback on reverse complete. So this will just fire whenever we're finished reversing the main menu, whenever the main menu closes. And to do that, we can grab the show submenu, which is why we created it up here above the main menu one. So we can reference it here. So we can do show submenu dot progress, and we can set the progress back to 0. So it moves the submenu back to the beginning. But then it would start playing if we set the progress. So we'd also need to do show submenu.pause. So this is essentially resetting it. So we're setting it back to the beginning and we're pausing so it doesn't play. And that's only going to happen after this main menu collapses and is out of view. So we're not going to see the submenu reset. So if we save that and we come over here, we open one of these, and it doesn't matter if we click here, or we hit escape, doesn't matter. After that, this main menu slides out the way. That's when the submenu resets. And when we reopen, now we're seeing the main menu again. So all that's looking good. Yeah, and that's looking good. I think while I'm at it, I might throw in the lines too, just to make things a little nicer. I might just grab this button line, and let's just call this let lines equal, and we'll just grab these, and then on our timeline here, we'll do show main menu dot to on the lines. We'll do EQ0, so we're only getting the first line, and then we'll do a rotate of 45 degrees, and we'll make this happen at the beginning of the previous step, and then we can grab the second line and we can rotate it negative 45 degrees. So just to see what that looks like. Let this refresh. Okay, so that's looking good, except these aren't centered. We'll need to push this down, so we can do something like X or Y. Each line's 2 pixels. The gap between them is 4 pixels. So I think that might mean move them down 8 pixels. Could be wrong about that. So I'll just move the first line down by 8 pixels and push the second line up by 8 pixels and just see if that centers it. I might be wrong. Whoa. That needs to go opposite direction. Sorry, this second one gets pulled up. Yeah, that's what it is. Pull up using negative. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, so that's right, but it's going way too far. So let's just try putting that in half, potentially. -4 and +4, a lot closer. I'm just going to eyeball it till it's right. We'll go 3 and 3. Save, refresh. Perfect. Okay, yeah. So that's good. That's reversing. Looks good. So the only other thing is like taking into account screen readers and things like that. So if I were to tab on this right now and I hit enter, I might want it to just automatically, when I focus off of this menu button, to focus me on this first link, or maybe as soon as the menu opens. Yeah, let's see. Maybe as soon as this opens, we've focused the user down on the next link. So they're automatically on that next one. What we can do is, and this is a button, I could say, where's our open menu? So here we have on reverse complete. We could also do an on complete. So whenever the main menu finishes opening up, we could do, where's our menu wrap? We could grab our whole menu wrap. We could find the buttons inside of it, grab the first one, and then do .focus. And that way it just focuses on that first button inside the menu. So if we tab over here, hit enter, and bam, it auto-focused us on that first button. Now, whenever we tab down to contact, when we tab past it, browsers have this weird thing where it's like, even though the next link isn't visible, it's like forcing it to be visible. So it's applying this transform, that's sliding the panels over and making this visible. So if I hit back, nothing happened. It broke the interaction because the browser's like trying to force us to focus on a link that's not actually in view. So whenever we reach the bottom of this, what we probably want to do when we focus off this contact link is actually focus them onto the X button. So it creates kind of an infinite loop. So what we could do is, and I'll probably make this a bit reusable, but I could do something like maybe make this attribute based even. Let's see, let's just add our show class one here. So maybe I grab this panel and I say find all of the links and buttons inside this panel, get the last one. When you focus off that last one, return the focus back to the menu button. So I'll say, I'll give this something like trap focus attribute, and that way I can find all the panels inside. And what we'll want to do is let's grab these panels, add our transform back on. We'll want to do the same thing for each of these content panels. So when we leave focus off this link 3, return the focus back to the menu button. When we leave focus off this one, so we can give each of these panels the same sort of like trap focus attribute. So I'll just throw that on here, throw that on here, and throw that on this last content panel. So we're always finding the last link or button in this thing, and when we focus off it, return to this. So let's grab our panels. Let's move this back. Let's hide this, and let's go back to our code. So I think what I'll do is something like grab everything with the trap focus attribute, and we'll do an each loop. So we'll just loop through each, where's my function? We're going to loop through each of those, and we're going to grab this trap focus that we're looping through. We're going to find the A, which is links, or the buttons, so each of those, and then we're going to grab the last one out of those inside this panel, whatever the last link or button is, and we'll call this last item, and that's just going to be this guy. And then we can create a last item dot on. We can try, so I tried focus out before, so if we tried on focus out like this, let's create our function. All right, and then we could say on focus out of the last item, grab the, I think we called it the nav button, and do dot focus. The problem is by the time you focus out of this last item, it's already too late. It already returns you to focus on the next item in the list, and so it basically overrides this. What we need to do instead is on key down. So anytime we key down on the last item, we get information about the event. We can say if e dot key equals tab, just like we did for the escape key. So if we hit the tab key, we'll want to do e dot prevent, prevent default. And so this basically stops them, because naturally when you hit tab, it'll go to the next link in the list. That'll stop that default action, so it doesn't go to the next link in the list. And that allows us to choose the link that we want to focus on instead. So that way we can just say nav button focus. So if we save that and we refresh here, so if I hit enter, it focuses me now on the first link. When I hit tab off of contact, it goes to the menu button, and I can keep just like infinite cycle. So when I'm done with all these, I'm going back to menu. Now when I hit learn enter, so that is one thing we'll need to fix, is like I hit learn enter, but I'm focused on the links that are out of view. So like if we open learn, we probably want to focus on the first link in this list. But anyways, for now, I'll just keep hitting tab till we eventually get to these guys. They're in there somewhere. Oh, I actually can't because I'm trapped in a cycle here where it was going to contact. So yeah, we want to, like, if we hit learn, we want to focus on the learn link here, the first link inside that content panel. So what we can do is anytime we click on opens more, we have this like active content panel here. We should be able to say let active panel equal that one. And then we can grab the active content panel. We can find the, in this case, it's only just links, but we can find the, which is A, the links, grab the first one and focus on it. And I think that should do it. Let's just see if that works. So if we come over here, hit enter, and then let's say hit enter on Inspire. So it did focus on it, but it slid the whole thing over because of the way browsers handle focus states. So we want to make sure we're only focused on this after the panel's completely in view. So to do that, I can say active. I'm just going to save in a variable in here where we can store the active panel. And then whenever we click on, when we click on a link, we'll update what that active panel is. And then we'll wait till the panel's completely in view before we try and focus on its link. So that's the sub panel here. We can say on complete. So when the sub panels finish sliding in, then we'll want to, whatever the active panel is, find the link inside it, get the first one, focus on that link. And let's just see. So if we come back here, hit enter, we come down to learn, hit enter, bam. So after that panel slid into view, it focused on the learn one. Once we get past link 2 and hit tab, it returns us to that hamburger, which is great. And we can just close it out and we can, just keep going. So yeah, that's good. I think there's probably it's still not perfect because right now I can't focus on the back button. So I think I could be wrong about this, but I think the ideal UX would be you tab through all these links and then the last thing would be the back button. So if none of these links interest you, the next thing you would focus on would be back, and you can just go back to the list of all. But our design calls for the back button to be at the beginning. So what we might be able to do, I think this could work, is, let's see, maybe if we, so there's an attribute you can add called tab index. And if you add this to a button or a link or something that's focusable and you give it a -1, that means that it's not, you can't focus on it anymore. So it just removes the focus state. 0 would be the default. So it's make this thing focusable and in the default tab order. So going down the list that we see here. And then 1 would be pushing this to the end of the list, I believe. So after we tab all of these links, then this would be the next thing that we tab. It kind of breaks the flow that we're seeing here. So I might just try that and see what it does. If we give this a tab index 1 and just see if it works. So let's close this and let's close this. And let's just see. So I might have to comment out this trap focus that we have going on just for a second, just so we can see if this is going to work. So, okay, let's go to Inspire and we'll hit tab. Normally, this would tab us out and then back to this, but let's see if we hit tab again. Okay, yeah, it focused on something else. I'm not quite sure what, but it did go to the back button. So it got us to the back button next. I think maybe the simpler thing to do would be, instead of trying to deal with the tab index, because we already have some code set up that, let's grab this panel. We already have some code set up that on focus off of this last link is returning us to the menu button. Maybe we just say on focus off of the last link, go to the back button for any of the sub content. So let's say I'll remove the tab index. So we have these attributes on these content divs of trap focus. We can give it an optional attribute of go or maybe focus on back, true. And that way we can just kind of configure this. So I'll say focus back, true. Focus back, true. This is how you create interactive components that you can configure. So most of the functionality is the same and you're just changing things about the certain ones. So let's hide that, because for the first trap focus, the main menu panel, we do want it when we tab off to focus on the hamburger. But for those sub panels, we want it to focus on the menu button. So what we can do is loop through each trap focus, which we're doing, say let's grab this trap focus. Let's try and find the attribute on it called focus back. And we can say something like, we'll save it in a variable. We'll say focus back. So that'll just save whether this was set to true. And I can say something like, if focus back was equal to true, then we will grab the back button, which was here, which we probably need to save that in a variable since we're going to use it more than once. I'll say let back button equal this guy, and then I can grab back button and use that for the click event. And I can say, so if this component had focus back true, then focus on the back button. Did I put two ends there? No, I didn't. Okay. And then else, focus on the nav button. And let's just see what that does. Save, refresh. All right, so if we tab off of contact, we're focused on X. If we come in here, we tab off of any of these, we're focused on back, and we can go back. Man, and one, there's, I don't know if there's like an easier way to do this, but it seems like designing for focus states is tricky. But yeah, because when we focus back, which is good, when we go back, it seems like we'd want to return the focus back to whatever we were previously on. So if I had clicked on learn, the focus should be on learn again. That way I can keep going down the list. Or if I had clicked on inspire, we should return the focus back to inspire. Yeah, so let's just say let previous, I did not figure all this part out beforehand, just kind of winging this part. Previously focused. So we'll just save that in a variable, and then anytime we click on an opens more link, one of those links, we'll update our previously focused to be this link that we just clicked on. And then whenever we reverse our submenu, so on reverse complete, then we can grab our previously focused link and focus on it. And let's just see what that does. All right, so we should be good to hit inspire, go through here, hit back, and it focuses on inspire. This is great. Learn, bop, 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 go back, and it focuses on learn. So great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. There's more that can be done for sure to improve this, but I think I'm just going to wrap it there. So I'll leave a link to the clonable in the description below. Hopefully this was helpful, and yeah, I'm just going to go through all the comments and make sure I get a chance to answer any questions. Someone said, are you using Arc browser? Yes, I am. I absolutely love it. It's for Mac only, I believe, at this point, but I love having all the tabs on the side, being able to do split view, and a ton of other cool features. Caleb mentioned maybe the padding was included in the lift size. Yeah, the custom CSS was just to reset all the styles, so it actually shouldn't have had anything on it. But yeah, it did look like the button width was being increased by the padding for some reason. I don't know what was going on there. I'll have to go back and look. Someone else said, thank you for making these videos. Any thoughts on making this CMS controlled so it's easier for the client to update links? Yeah, I think that's totally possible with what we have here. So imagine that these links here, grow, learn, inspire, are a collection list, and each of these are the collection items, right? And then if we go back here, these content divs could each be collection items. And you might need a nested collection list potentially, or yeah, like, so if this is a collection item pulling from the same collection for grow, and it's displaying all the links inside grow. So I'm sure this could probably be linked up to collections. Yeah, using what we have here. Let's see. Need this for menu. Cool. Yeah, I think that's. Oh, and someone said Arc released a Windows version recently. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining in. Like I said, I'll make this a clonable and post it in the description below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have a good one.